My girlfriend said, just pay for everyone's meal, don't be cheap, at her friend's birthday. I said, you're right. Then I paid exactly my share and left. She's been paying her friend back for 3 months with interest. I, 28 male, work as an inventory analyst at a logistics company. Not glamorous, but it pays decent. Been with Natalie, 26, for about 14 months. She works part-time at a boutique, making maybe $1,800 a month. I make around $4,200. Not rich by any means, but I manage. Here's the thing, Natalie loves the high life. Designer bags, knockoffs mostly, but she tells everyone they're real. Expensive brunches, weekend trips. When we started dating, she'd pay her share sometimes. That stopped about 6 months in. Suddenly everything was, babe, you know I'm saving for, followed by whatever excuse worked that week. I let it slide because, honestly, I liked her. She was fun, spontaneous, made me feel like I was living a more exciting life. But looking back, I was basically financing her Instagram lifestyle. 2 weeks ago was her best friend Delaney's 27th birthday. Big dinner at this upscale steakhouse. The kind where appetizers start at $28. Natalie told me it would be just a small group, maybe 6 people. Cool. I budgeted around $150 for both of us. Show up, and there's 14 people. Delaney's entire friend group, plus some cousins. Everyone's ordering cocktails at $18 each, multiple appetizers, the works. I'm watching the mental calculator in my head exploding. Halfway through dinner, Natalie leans over and whispers, Delaney's been having a rough time with her breakup. It would be really sweet if you covered the birthday dinner. Show everyone what an amazing boyfriend you are. I said, that's really generous, but I can't afford to pay for 14 people. She got this look. You know the one. Like I just told her I kick puppies for fun. Don't be cheap, she said louder now. A few people glanced over. It's her birthday. Just pay for everyone's meal. The table went quiet. Everyone pretending they weren't listening while obviously listening. Delaney doing that fake humble thing. Oh no, you don't have to. I looked at the table. Estimated the bill was already pushing $1,100 easy, and they hadn't even ordered dessert yet. That's literally my entire savings for car repairs. You're right, I said to Natalie. Smiled real big. I shouldn't be cheap. She looked so smug. Grabbed my hand under the table like I was her trained seal who just performed correctly. When the check came, I flagged the waiter. Can you split out just my meal, please? The salmon and the 1 beer. Dead. Silence. The waiter, bless him, didn't even blink. Of course, sir. My total, $43 plus tip. I paid $55 cash, stood up, and said, Happy birthday, Delaney. Natalie's got the rest covered since she's feeling so generous tonight. The look on Natalie's face, like I just shape-shifted into a stranger. She grabbed my arm as I stood up. What are you doing? She hissed. Not being cheap with NY money. I said, you want to treat your friend? Go ahead. Left her there with a $1,200 bill and 13 confused people. Drove home, turned off my phone, and had the best sleep I'd had in months. Update 1. Remember when I said I turned off my phone? Yeah, when I turned it back on the next morning, I had 89 missed calls. Not for Natalie, though. She was blocked. From numbers I didn't recognize. Turns out Natalie had given my number to everyone at that dinner, telling them I promised to pay and then bailed. The messages range from guilt trips, you ruined Delaney's birthday, to straight-up demands. You owe me $96 for my meal. The best part? Natalie had to put the entire bill on her credit card, the one she's been maxed out on for months. The restaurant wouldn't let them leave without paying, obviously. She had to call her mom to temporarily transfer money. But here's where it gets interesting. Her friend Josie, who was at the dinner, actually DM'd me on Instagram with screenshots. Natalie had been in their group chat for weeks talking about how she was going to get me to pay for the whole dinner. Direct quote. He won't say no in front of everyone. He's too worried about looking bad. There were more screenshots. Natalie bragging about the designer purse she was going to make me buy her for Christmas. How she convinced me to pay for her cousin's wedding gift, $300 cash. How she was working on getting me to co-sign a car loan because her credit was shot. Josie ended with, I felt bad for you. She talks about you like you're an ATM. Thought you should know. I thanked Josie and saved every screenshot. Then things escalated. Natalie's mom called me, not to apologize, but to demand I make this right. Apparently, Natalie told her I humiliated her in front of her friends, and now she's too embarrassed to show her face. Her mom actually said, and I quote, "A real man provides for his woman. What kind of future husband will you be?" I laughed. Couldn't help it. "Ma'am, your daughter tried to volunteer me to pay for 14 people's dinner without asking. A real woman doesn't ambush her partner with a $1,200 bill." She hung up on me. Then came the posts. Natalie went full nuclear on social media. Posted this sob story about how her narcissistic ex abandoned her at a restaurant with a huge bill, how I financially abuse her by making her pay with money she didn't have, how I'd been controlling her with money throughout our relationship. The comments were wild. Half her friends were backing her up, calling me trash. The other half were oddly quiet. Then Josie struck again. She commented, "Didn't you literally say in our group chat that you were going to make him pay for everyone?" Natalie deleted the post within an hour. Update 2. So Natalie's been having a rough time. And by rough, I mean karma came for her with a vengeance. Remember that $1,200 she had to put on her credit card? Well, it triggered an over-limit fee, then a late payment fee because she couldn't pay the minimum. Her interest rate jumped to 29.99% penalty APR. How do I know this? Because Delaney called me. Yeah, the birthday girl herself. "Look," she said, "I didn't know Natalie was planning to force you to pay. She told us all you'd offered. We ordered expensive stuff because we thought you were cool with it. I feel horrible." Delaney explained that Natalie had been hitting up everyone who was at the dinner for their portion of the bill. But here's the thing. Since they all thought I was paying, they went wild with ordering. Some people's portions were $150 to $200 each. They're refusing to pay that much. Natalie's been getting increasingly desperate. She showed up at her friend Brianna's workplace crying, demanding the $180 for her meal. Brianna's manager had to escort Natalie out. She threatened to take another friend, Antoine, to small claims court over his $95 portion. But the best part? Natalie's job at the boutique? She got fired. Not for the dinner thing, but because she'd been stealing inventory and selling it on Poshmark. The owner finally caught on when Natalie posted a dress that was literally still on display in the store window. The timing was just coincidental, but Natalie's convinced I somehow orchestrated it. She tried to file for unemployment, but got denied because she was fired for theft. She can't pay her rent. Her car got repossessed. Apparently, she was already 3 months behind. And her mom, who bailed her out with the dinner bill, is refusing to help anymore. Then last week, things got weird. I got a call from my credit card company about suspicious activity. Someone had tried to apply for a credit card in my name. 3 guesses who? Yep. Natalie had my SSN from when we talked about maybe moving in together, and I'd filled out a rental application. She tried to open cards with 3 different companies. Luckily, I'd already frozen my credit after we broke up. Josie warned me Natalie might try something, so nothing went through. I filed a police report. Identity theft is a felony. The detective called Natalie in for questioning. She broke down and admitted everything, claiming she was desperate and I owed her for the embarrassment I caused. The detective literally laughed and told her that's not how the law works. Update 3. The district attorney decided to prosecute. Natalie's looking at potential jail time for identity theft, though her lawyer, public defender, will probably get her a plea deal with probation. But that's not even the wildest part. Remember Josie, the friend who sent me screenshots? Well, she reached out again last week with a bombshell. Natalie had done this before. Exactly this. 2 years ago, with her ex, Terrell. Same playbook. Slowly stopped paying for anything. Then tried to force him to pay for her sister's bachelorette party dinner. When he refused, she accused him of financial abuse on social media. The difference? Terrell just blocked her and moved on. Didn't press charges when she keyed his car. Josie introduced me to Terrell virtually. This dude had stories. Natalie had stolen his PlayStation and sold it when he wouldn't buy her a new phone. Told his family he was abusive when he refused to pay her student loans. Used his credit card that he'd let her use once for gas to buy $800 worth of clothes. Claimed she was pregnant to try to get him back. She wasn't. Terrell's been with his now-fiancée for a year, and they laugh about his bullet dodge with Natalie. He thanked me for actually holding her accountable. Meanwhile, Natalie's life continues to implode. She moved back in with her mom, who makes her pay rent. She's working at a call center, making $15 per hour. Still owes most of her friends money from the birthday dinner. They've all pretty much cut her off, except for two enablers who still think I'm a villain. Oh, and about that $1,200 dinner bill, with the interest and fees, she now owes the credit card company closer to $1,600. She's been making minimum payments of $35 a month. At that rate, it'll take her about 8 years to pay it off and cost her over $3,000 total. But here's my favorite part. Last weekend, I ran into Delaney and some of the people from that dinner at a bar. They invited me to join them. We had a great time, and when the bill came, everyone immediately pulled out their wallets to pay their share. Antoine actually said, after the birthday fiasco, we all agreed, separate checks forever. We laughed about it. They're calling it the dinner incident now. Apparently, it's become a cautionary tale in their friend group about not assuming someone else is paying. Final update. Natalie took a plea deal. 2 years probation, 100 hours community service, and she has to pay restitution for the costs I incurred protecting my credit. She also has a felony on her record now, which is going to make finding decent employment nearly impossible. Her mom reached out one last time, much more subdued. Apparently, Natalie's been in therapy and finally admitted she has a problem with money and entitlement. Too little, too late, but at least she's getting help. Her mom apologized for her initial reaction and said she understands now why I did what I did. I'm dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I went out with this girl Ramona last week. When the check came, she immediately pulled out her card for her half without me even asking. We're going out again this Friday. Oh, and Josie and I have become pretty good friends. Purely platonic, she's happily married. But she's part of my trivia team now, and she's savage at sport questions. Looking back, I probably stayed with Natalie too long. The red flags were there, but that dinner was the best $55 I ever spent. It cost me a toxic relationship and saved me from what could have been years of financial manipulation. To anyone reading this in a similar situation, you're not cheap for not wanting to pay for everyone. You're not selfish for protecting your finances. And you're definitely not wrong for standing up for yourself, even if it makes a scene. The entitlement some people have to others' money is wild. But the best part? When you stop enabling them, they actually have to face consequences for once. And based on those angry texts I got from Natalie's 2 remaining friends last week, apparently she tried to pull the same stunt at a brunch. She's still learning that lesson the hard way.